Mr. Speaker, he has today told us that we have 2.2 million Ghanaians unemployed. But what he has forgotten, that in his administration, in less than 100 days, all we know is sack them, sack them, sack them, dismiss her, dismiss her, dismiss her. Mr. Speaker, on the streets of Accra today, the youth of the country are saying that Mahama baako, termination bebree. Mr. Speaker, we are happy to hear from the president that he is going to launch the Nkokon Kitinkiti. We are happy to hear this, but we are curious because only yesterday we heard of a confirm. Mr. Speaker, the president talked about the school feeding program, and in his submission on the school feeding program and the status of it, he said that they are now feeding the children well. What he didn't say was that the time he assumed office, the previous government had paid every single one of the caterers. What he failed to tell Ghanaians was that President John Ajekum Kufuor, who is seated in this chamber, was the one who initiated the school feeding program. He did not acknowledge him. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency, the President, has announced to us a cabinet of 19 with only 2 women. The daughter of the founder of this NDC, Zaneto Rollins, is missing. Haja Ladi is missing. Helen Intosu is missing. Where are the women in this government? The Vice President.
Honorable members, please, order.
The Vice President is part of the government, and we are seeing only 2 women in cabinet, and the Vice President is sitting there. In percentage terms, we have only 10% of women in cabinet. Mr. Speaker, the President again says that he has delivered less ministers. But it is clear that his strategy is, if less, more divide. You have appointed few ministers, but more and more and more presidential staffers and more committees. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. The President again, as part of his lamentations, is telling the nation that through some arrangements to do two things: pay domestic bonds that matured, and then also they have successfully done some financial to pay some energy sector debts to keep our lights on. My question is, Mr. Speaker, has the President any budget? This is the budget he inherited, the revenues he inherited that he has used for this purpose. The same government is condemning. Mr. Speaker, what we have heard today fails to acknowledge the strides made in the last 8 years. Mr. Speaker, the President failed to acknowledge that he came to meet a peaceful and a stable country. Two, the President failed to tell us that he came to meet a public and civil service that the government, in spite of all challenges, was able to pay consistently. Mr. Speaker, the President failed to tell us that in spite of all the crisis, consistently, the Akufo-Addo government was able to increase wages. And the minimum we did was 11% as compared to his 10%.
Honorable Minority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, to conclude.
Your time is
Mr.
up.
Speaker, to conclude. Mr. Speaker, the President again, as part of his lamentations, is telling the nation that through some arrangements, they are to do two things: pay domestic bonds that matured, and then also they have successfully done some financial to pay some energy sector debts to keep our lights on. My question is, Mr. Speaker, has the President any budget? This is the budget he inherited, the revenues he inherited that he has used for this purpose. The same government is condemning.